Hello and welcome to Mountain Valley Today. I'm here with Jerry Clifton. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, David.
And Laura Hogan.
Hey, nice to see y'all.
And these guys are with the Freedom Run in Rainsville. Jerry, how many years have we been doing the Freedom Run?
This is our 9th year.
That doesn't seem possible.
I know. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. But yes, it is our 9th year.
Do you run with them?
No. I'm actually the brains behind the operation. Not all of us can be runners.
You've got to have somebody with some organization.
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
But I must say, Jerry, you've taken this event and you have expanded, you've grown, you've invested, you've, I won't say blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of sweat. I don't know about blood. Don't know about tears.
Well, there no blood, thank goodness, but there has been a lot of sweat for sure, and some tears, and a lot of stress. I mean, you know, we actually start working on this run on January the 1st.
Wow.
Actually, probably this year, I actually started back in December, starting to plan things for it, and it's a 6 months process.
A labor of love.
It is a labor of love, and you guys have helped raise a lot of money for a lot of needy charities. And before we get too much further, the Freedom Run this year is June the 17th in Rainsville, Alabama, and we hope that you'll come. Tell your friends. You don't have to run; you can walk. Right?
Absolutely. We have some great charities that we're working with this year, and the 10K is that you do have to run.
Okay.
And it is for the more advanced runners because it is a extremely difficult course. So anyone who loves running 10Ks, they should come to Rainsville to run our 10K because I feel like, and the runners that have ran our 10K will tell you that this is the best 10K course of probably anywhere. I'm not going to say in Alabama, but probably could be. I mean, it is an extremely difficult course. People who run 10Ks love something that's difficult.
It's a challenge.
And this one is for sure difficult. Now the 5K, you know, we'll have great runners in that also, but we encourage our whole community to come out and be a part, and anyone can walk the 5K because 5K is 3.1 miles. And people say to me, well, how far is that? And I'll use the example, Broadway Church, which I know that you're a member of.
Yep.
And we appreciate the fact of Broadway opening their doors for us because if it wasn't for Broadway, I don't know if we could actually do this race or not. But from Broadway Church to the Civic Center over at Plainview School and back is actually 3.1 miles.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what 3.1 miles is.
Well, I want to talk about some of the charities that you guys are raising money for this year. So, Laura, I'll turn this over to you.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about the charities, how you came to include these charities, and then I want to come back to you. I want you to go back and think. So I'm giving you a moment to think about this, okay?
Wow, that's good. Good.
I want to know how this all started many, many years ago.
Okay, great.
So you be thinking where you want to go with that one.
I'm
let's
with
talk about the charities that we're going to be benefiting through the monies that we're able to raise.
Okay. Actually, we have so many charities this year because there was such a need. People just kept coming to us saying, we have a need for this, we have a need for that. So our list has grown and grown so much that I've actually typed it down so that we
So
can
you don't
read it
forget?
all. Yeah,
Well,
because there's so
I'm
many.
going to pull Jerry's over here so
Yeah.
I can see it too. What you're thinking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still thinking.
Yes, the wheels are turning over there. The hamster is on the wheel.
Oh my
I
God.
was so glad you used that analogy because, you know, when you guys are running down the mountain, I could do that. But coming up, I'm a hamster. I would just keep
Yes,
and not
me
getting
too.
anywhere.
Me too. That's why I'm not running with them.
Gosh. All right.
But anyway, we have this summit in Fort Payne. That is a 12-month faith-based women's program. Helps women rise above adversities. It teaches them life skills, helps them cope after they've been in stressful or hardship situations.
And it's just a really nice facility for those people.
It is. It's
I know
wonderful.
I've been in contact with them about their pool management, you know, keeping that clean and getting it started. I'm not sure where they are in that process, but it's a great facility.
It is. It's wonderful. They're doing wonderful things, and their mission is wonderful. And then we have Made Strong. This is the brainchild of Alex and Holly Joe Flora, and I know that you go to church with them.
They were just on our show just the other day. A great way to promote cystic fibrosis and the awareness of it. Not necessarily promote it, but the awareness of it, and try to raise money for research and preventative measures, which have come such a long way.
They have, but there's still a great need for it, and they're parents to 2 children who both have CF, so a great cause there. Then we have Turning Point Pregnancy Center. That's in Scottsboro, Alabama. We've got 2 or 3 Scottsboro or Jackson County needs that we're sponsoring this year also.
I had not heard of this one.
Yeah, this is one of them. It helps educate and assist women who choose to continue a pregnancy through a difficult situation or hardship. It provides financial assistance for them and also counseling, things of that nature to just get them through the process.
Okay.
Run for Uganda. This is also a local mission that is also not a local mission, but it extends the reach of the Freedom Run and the money that we give. It provides funding to dig wells for drinking water in Uganda, and it also now is providing funding for a mission house in Uganda.
Now, what is there a church this has come from?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Rainsville Community Church.
Okay, that's what I was
Kate
thinking.
Knowles
Yes.
is the pastor
I
over
just
there.
wasn't sure, and I didn't want to say that without you guys confirming.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have Running for Joy. This is a little girl who always runs our race, participates in our race every year. Her name is Caitlin Lee.
Let me say something about Caitlin. Caitlin, her mother contacted me 3 years ago. Caitlin, I think at that time was 6. And she asked me about Caitlin running our 10K. And because that was going to be Caitlin's first 10K to run. And I told her, I said, you know, we have a time limit. It is a hard course. She is 6 years old. But she assured me of Caitlin's physical condition, and she does gymnastics and all of that. So she came and ran our course and did great with it. And Caitlin she's a fireball for a kid. I mean, she's incredible.
For sure. And she's doing great things.
She had a passion for this charity, which involves children with cancer. So I think she's raised almost $15,000 over the last 3 or 4 years of going out to different runs and encouraging people to contribute to Running for Joy.
That's great. That's great.
It is. Then we have the Children's Advocacy Center, of course, in Fort Payne. Provides hope and healing for abused and at-risk children. There's a huge need for this, and I know they do a lot of independent fundraisers, but it's also something that we enjoy helping with when we can. And then we have 2 animal shelters on here this time because that was another need that was brought to our attention that a lot of people were bypassing. The DeKalb County Animal Shelter, and then also Safe Haven No Kill Shelter. This one's in Scottsboro. And the last one that we've just recently added, because we have so many runners from the Chattanooga area and they are just really supportive of us and our race, is On My Own 2 Feet. And this is a program that helps low income and homeless rebuild and regain self-confidence and life skills through running. We're also going to have some donation bins located the night of packet pickup and on race day, where people can bring and donate used running shoes, running gear, just regular t-shirts and shorts, that type thing that these people can use for the homeless.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, the Chattanooga Track Club, we have a lot of folks from Chattanooga that come down to run our race. And last year, the president of the track club actually came down. And after it was over, he talked to me and he told me, he said, Jerry, he said, it's kind of embarrassing for me to say this to you. He said, but I want you to know I have never ran a race more organized and more fun than what this race is.
That's great.
And we will be back next year. And they have fulfilled that. They are bringing more runners, and so that's why we wanted to get involved and help them, because that's a great charity for them.
Well, as much as you guys have to do for organization, do you actually run that day?
No, I can't, because it's too much to do.
I know.
Too much to do.
I know. I'm just picking at you just a little bit. But let's go and talk about the brainchild 9 years ago when you had. Did you have this idea? Why don't you just tell us a little bit about the history, how it came to be as the Freedom Run 9 years ago, and what you've seen it happen and grow to this event?
Well, you know, a friend of mine at church, when I was attending Rainsville First Baptist, had approached me about us doing a fundraiser for our mission group. And so we talked about, I had started running probably about a year or so earlier, and so I had, you know, that we talked about, well, let's do a 5K. So that's how we actually came about and started the Rainsville Freedom Run, was at that point.
Okay.
And so we started it then. We had 175 runners in it. And then the next year we went to the 10K, and we had probably 200 and something in it. And it's just grown every year since then. So, and we tried to add to it.
Well, what do you think is the most challenging with the Freedom Run? As you start, I know you said you started in January or before.
Right.
So, what is the most challenging about organizing this event from your perspective?
Well, number one, we have tremendous support in this community. We actually have a board. Laura is our director of marketing with that. We've got Chris Bryant with Farmers Telecommunications that's on that board. Chris Ritchie is on the board. Amy Simmons is on the board. Laura, Pam Willingham with RTI.
You better not forget Pam.
Yeah, I
now.
can't
Yeah, we
forget
can't
Pam.
forget
Yeah,
her,
She's
Pam.
your running buddy.
I know she is. But we've got several. So the week of the run, we'll have 100 volunteers out of Rainsville helping us.
Easily. It takes a lot of people to put on this show.
Yeah, and so probably the hardest thing is just to get the word out to all runners and make sure that we have that participation, because in order to have a good run, you have to have two things. One, you have to have quality runners. Two, you've got to have numbers of runners. So that's why it's important for our community to come. Even if they walk the 5K, it's important to have people there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we really want to get across. It seems like we have people struggling with the idea of, can I participate because I'm a walker and not a runner? Well, sure you can, and we really need you to. All of the money goes for a great cause. As you can see, we have several needs here that we're trying to meet this year, and we'd love for you to participate even if you are a walker and not a runner.
Or maybe if you're not a walker or runner, just a volunteer.
Yes,
to hand out water
Yeah.
or organize,
Yes.
give
Yeah.
out T-shirts or whatever you do.
Yeah, we'll be on Friday night. We'll start our Friday night, the 16th of June. We'll have our packet pickup, our early packet pickup. And that starts at like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock that night, again at the Fellowship Hall in Broadway. And then that morning, we'll be there at 5 o'clock that morning, getting everything set up. We use best times out of Memphis, Tennessee. They come and do all of our chip timing. They do runs all over the Southeast. They're very well known in like large runs. And
And everything's really automated, the technology.
Yes.
And when you started years ago, how did you do that then?
Well, we actually started years ago with Coach Dale Pruitt and some others from the church with just regular stopwatches. And they would just literally click the watches as people came across.
Right.
And we had fast runners. I never will forget. I mean, it was a scary situation because we had so many fast runners, and we was afraid we was going to mess up. And so that next year, I knew I had to go to a chip timing system,
Okay.
and that's how I met best time.
Isn't it amazing that you start something with an idea and you find ways to improve it and you just keep growing? Now, last year, what was the record number? I know we had a record number last year.
Yeah, last year we had just a little over 800. Which was up from 650 the year before. And so we're hoping for 1,000 this year. I think we're a little over 600 right now. We're 3 weeks to go. So I think we've got, we're going to be close to that if we don't make it. So I think it's going to be good.
Well, that is just absolutely amazing. How long have you been involved, Laura?
For the past 3 years, I started helping with packet pickup initially, and then there was an opening for somebody to help with marketing, which we have a great need for. And as the race has grown, we really needed somebody to spend more time managing social media and things like that. So I work a lot behind the scenes on the Facebook page and things like that.
That sounds like a perfect place to
Yeah.
be, back and not out there running in the hot. or
Exactly, right?
Laura does a great job of taking what my evil ideas are
whatever, and making them positive.
and making them positive.
Somebody's got to reel him in.
Yeah, you kind of get out there sometimes, but that's one thing I've always admired about you is you have these ideas, but you have a way to make them happen.
Yes, and being able to facilitate those ideas is a huge part of this too.
And I know that you have gotten the word out through national magazines, through contacts,
Right.
through your network system. and I'm just amazed at the people from all over the country that come.
Yeah.
What's the farthest
Well,
that someone has come from?
This year, coming from California.
Really?
Yes, we have runners coming from California, Indiana, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, obviously, Mississippi. I don't know if we have anybody out of Florida yet, but
Okay.
but California. We actually have the cross country coach from the University of California coming to run our race.
And that's huge for
And
us.
this girl, she's a tremendous runner on her own. You know, she's probably going to honestly break under a 5-minute mile,
Wow.
which will be extremely challenging for our course.
Mm-hmm.
We have an Olympic qualifier coming this year. We have several elite runners, which basically, when you hear the word elite, what that is, those are runners that is actually paid to run.
Wow.
So Skechers Sportswear, everybody is familiar with
Yeah,
Skechers
right.
shoes. Skechers Sportswear, they actually sponsor runners to come, and we've got some of those runners that'll be here.
My goodness, isn't it amazing that you get
It
paid to go
is.
run?
It
Have
is.
you got a
It's
sponsor like that
crazy.
yet?
No, I have no sponsor.
He's looking for one.
I have to pay for everything I do. And nobody would pay me.
But and that's one thing that I'll say again. You and your group of what you call crazies, and I
Right.
don't mean they're crazy. I mean,
It's
you
the passion that they have for running.
Exactly.
That's where the title comes from.
my daughter-in-law is one of those crazies,
Mm.
and you guys are running all the time. It seems like every day, which I know it's not every day.
Mm-hmm.
Rain, shine, sleet, snow. You guys are running,
Yeah.
and it's just a passion you have.
Well, you know, one of our slogans on our T-shirt that the crazies have is to give back. And so I just feel like that we need to give back. So there'll be something that we'll try to do, like last November. You know, some of us last year we went to Big Sur in
Right.
California and did the Big Sur Marathon out there. Well, I told them when we got back, I said, okay, we're going to do one more marathon this year. And so they said, well, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? I said, well, I'll let you know. So anyway, so I started looking.
Your crazy mind had not found it.
The
No.
crazy mind had not
No.
found it. But I got to looking, and I found one called the Soldiers Marathon. It's in Columbus, Georgia, Fort Benning, and the proceeds go to help our military's families with needs that they have.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, okay, so I got them all together. I did a live feed, you know. Everybody knows
the
I love
cameras
those
going
live
everywhere.
feeds.
The only
And-
thing you make me a little seasick
Yeah, a
when I'm
little
watching.
seasick.
You've got to learn to hold it a little more steady.
Yeah.
But it's like everywhere.
That's why Jerry's
Oh.
not in charge of the Facebook page.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, so we did the live feed, and I told them, I said, okay, here it is. We're going to the Soldiers Marathon in Columbus, Georgia. And it was like, I was thinking, oh boy, they're going to be outside. And they just had all of them had this sickening look on their face. And I told them, I said, look, when you go to Big Sur, which is the #1 marathon in the world, anything under that is going to be different.
Yeah.
You know. And, but they was 15 or 16 of us went there in November.
And you look like you had a great time.
It was a great time. It was extremely moving. We are going to go back this year. I would encourage anyone, they do a half marathon plus a full. If anyone ever wants to do a half marathon or a full, and let that be their first one, go to Columbus, Georgia, and do it. It is worth it. It's moving. We actually start at the National Infantry Museum, which is off the base about a half a mile. And then they let us run onto the base, and we run into Fort Benning for about 5 miles. And then we go out and go into town, and we do the river walk down through there. But when you're running on the base and you see all those soldiers with their families standing there at every intersection you go through, waving, cheering you on, it's extremely moving. And to know that the money that is being raised is to help benefit them and their families who make the ultimate sacrifice for us as Americans
Yes.
is unbelievable.
Yes.
So I would say to anyone, go to Fort Benning, Columbus, Georgia, run the Soldiers Marathon. I promise you, they're going to treat you so nice. It is unbelievable how nice they treat you down there. And I don't know if they treat you hardly as nice as what we do at the Rainsville Freedom
No
Run,
way,
but
they're
it's pretty
close.
close.
It's
It's pretty
close.
close. And one thing that they had down there, probably about mile 18 or 19, and I mean that's getting at a point to where you're starting to wonder.
Should I need to quit now?
So, yeah, I mean, where's a
Out of
taxi?
gas, yeah.
Where's a taxi? We
I'd have
go
been out
around
of gas
this.
at mile 2.
Yeah.
We go around this corner, and here they are standing with like this giant platter of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
How about
and,
that?
And they're all quartered up, just like where you can grab just a little, one in your hand and keep on going. And oh my gosh, I'm telling you, if you ever love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
and I do like those, but
That
I don't know
was
that
great.
I want to run 18 miles.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
I might. But that's the thing. You guys, when you're watching the show or seeing it on a Facebook feed, share it. Tell people. We want more and more people to come be a part of Rainsville, the Freedom Run.
Yes.
absolutely.
So let's go
Yes.
through these charities that we're gonna again.
Yes.
Let's reiterate those again. Talk about what the purpose is, why we're raising this
Sure.
money for, and who we're raising it for.
Sure. So y'all are going to see me reading this off of a list, and that's because the need is there for so many different charities, and it's just grown and grown and grown. So we have the Summit in Fort Payne. That is a 12-month faith-based program. That's a tongue twister.
It is.
That helps women rise above adversities, and it teaches them important life skills, even simple things such as how to cook meals or wash clothes, clean
And also
house.
it teaches them how to go for a job interview,
It
how to
does.
dress for that,
It
maybe
does.
resumes and things like that.
Correct. We have Made Strong, and that's going to be Alex and Holly Joe Flora. That's for cystic fibrosis. They have 2 children, and both of them have CF, and all of the money that they raise goes directly to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
In Alabama, so the money stays in Alabama. All
It
the money
does.
that they raise through those
Yes,
charities.
great point. And then we have Turning Point Pregnancy Center. This is located in Scottsboro, Alabama. It helps to educate and assist women who choose to continue pregnancy through hardship situations. It offers them counseling and financial assistance. Then we have Run for Uganda. This provides funding to dig wells for drinking water in Uganda, and currently it's also providing funding for a mission house in Uganda.
And this is sponsored by the Rainsville Community Church here in our
It
town.
is.
Right.
And
It
Kate
is, and-
Knowles, the pastor there.
Correct.
And they're also a great supporter of our run and help us get our numbers up and encourage people to run and walk. Then we have Running for Joy. This is a charity that Caitlin Lee, a little girl from Gadsden, I believe.
No, actually around Huntsville.
Okay.
She's from around Huntsville.
She raises money for childhood cancer patients, and she's been coming to our run and doing great things, and she's just a firecracker, and we're happy to be able to send some money her way too. Children's Advocacy Center. This is a center in DeKalb County that provides hope and healing for children that are abused or at risk. Then we have 2 animal shelters, DeKalb County Animal Shelter and Safe Haven No Kill Shelter. That's in Scottsboro, Alabama, because we've learned that there's also a huge need in that area that a lot of people are missing. And the last one that we've just recently added is On My Own 2 Feet. This is a program out of Chattanooga that helps low income and homeless rebuild and regain self-confidence and life skills through running.
And these are great charities. Just out of curiosity, how much money typically do you raise at one of these? Now, I know you started 9 years ago, and you probably were happy with whatever you raised.
Right.
But I know as it's become more and more popular, it's gained success. What are we looking at as far as the amount of money we can donate to charities?
Well, last year we gave a little over $32,000 away.
That's amazing.
And
That's amazing.
and we're hoping this year to be able to do at least that much, maybe a little bit more. It just really depends upon the kind of support that we get on race day as far as folks coming out. We have some great folks that are sponsors for us. That help us with the cost of the run, because this is a very expensive run to put on. Last year our budget was probably close to $20,000 of what it cost to put this
Yeah, I
thing
think
on.
a lot of people don't realize how much it actually cost us just to put it on.
Yeah.
And that's why we really need people to sign up to participate, is because you know, apart from these needs that we have with the charities, there's a need there to actually put the race on and make sure we do have the money to give to them.
Now, how do people sign up? Let's go that way, and how they find out more information.
Okay, great. We have a Facebook page, and it's at Rainsville FF Run. Then we also have a website where you can go online and register or view information about us and about the charities that we have. There are individual links there that you can click on and read more about these charities other than this brief description we've given you. And that's going to be Rainsville Freedom Fest at racesonline.com. And then we've also got registration forms at First State Bank in Rainsville, at Body Vision in Rainsville, at Carpet Center in Rainsville, and most of the fitness clubs around
all
here.
All the fitness clubs in
DeKalb
County
and some of the
Jackson
other
County.
businesses are going to have them too. So just wherever you walk in, look on their table out front and see if they have a form for you.
Yeah, and they can contact Laura or myself.
Yeah.
You know, if they have any questions or whatever. I mean, as it gets closer, you know, I get emails, I get phone calls.
Is it still too late to sign up?
Oh, it's not. No, you'll be able
right
to
up
sign
until
up
race day.
right up to race day. We'll continue to take folks. You know, we decided this year that we would limit it to 1,000 runners, but you know, if we've got 1,010, we'll work that out. So we're not going to worry about that.
Well, and that's the
We'll
thing.
make the room.
The more people, the merrier. The more, the merrier.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
you've encouraged people to be a part of the crazies, because the more people you got running, the more fun it is.
Yes.
And that's really in anything. The more people you can bring together for a common cause. But let me ask this question. How do you go about deciding that the charities this year are the ones you're going to focus on? I'm sure there's a screening process, and there's tons of needs out there.
Yeah, we review each charity and kind of discuss amongst ourselves as board members those that have a need that maybe has not been met yet, that maybe they're not receiving as much funding from other sources, or maybe they don't have their own source of raising money. They're not doing their own 5K or something of that nature. And we just try to put our money where it's really needed the most that year.
And the main thing, one of the things that I like to look at is to make sure that I know that money is going to be used locally.
Yes, that's very
Locally.
important to us.
Because, you know, we don't want to give to some of these larger organizations of raising money and know that part of that money is going to actually be paid for overhead and things of that nature.
Right.
We want to make sure that the money we raise actually goes
where
to
there's
work.
a need.
Right, goes where there's a need.
Well, I know you've done it for 9 years, so tell me a funny story, and then I want you to tell me a story that you'll never forget. Could be funny, could be sad, but I know I'm putting you on the spot, but Jerry Clifton has never been at a loss for words.
Gary Clifton always has a story to
Oh
tell.
my gosh. Well,
And I didn't give you any time to think
you
about
did.
it.
No,
I mean, yeah. The other thing
no.
you gave me some
Do
time.
you need a minute? Do you need to come up with something else?
Well, I'll tell you one. It's really it started out a little funny, but it was actually a serious story.
Okay. So you're combining the two questions.
I'm going to put them together.
At
I'm going to
least
put
he's
them
not
together.
a politician and sidestepping it.
That's
You're
right. That's
saying
right.
the right
I'll put them
thing.
together.
Okay.
It was actually 3 years ago. You know, like I said, as it gets closer, you know, I get more phone calls, I get more emails, I get more questions. So about 3 years ago, probably about 3 or 4 weeks before the run, I get a phone call from this guy, and he says, you know, ask my name, you know, and he says, "Do you allow cyclists to come to your run?" And I said, "Cyclist?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, we've never asked that question. I've never had that question asked for me before. Tell me what you're thinking." And so he started talking to me, and as more he talked to me, I knew that he was paralyzed.
Okay.
And so we talked, and I said, "Well, you know, we're really never set up for that,
Mm-hmm.
but let me see if we can work that out." So anyway, make a long story short, he came an inspiration to all of the people
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a special, because he was only going to be the only one.
Right.
I had a medal made up for him,
Yeah.
and he actually did the 10K course.
Wow.
And when we gave him his medal, it had a standing ovation there in the church, and it was just great. So
Well, you know, that's what this is all about, making memories and changing lives for the better.
Yes.
And we want you to participate in the Freedom Run in Rainsville. That's June the 17th. Be sure to check out their website, their
Yes.
Facebook page. We want you to come and be a part. It's going to be a great day in Rainsville. We want you to come and be a part of the Rainsville Freedom Run.
One final thank you to Bobby Ledbetter for being our title sponsor this year.
Yes,
All right.
Twin
absolutely.
City Used Cars.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.